All right, so you sent over this market report on contract catering, and I got to be honest, when I first saw that title, my mind went straight to, like, Mystery Meat Mondays back in high
All
school.
right.
But looking through it, this is about way more than just school lunches.
Oh, absolutely. You're in for a real eye-opener. It's funny how often we don't realize just how much contract catering impacts our daily lives, you know? It's
Yeah.
like everywhere, from that office cafeteria to, heck, even that music festival we were talking about the other day. It's everywhere.
You're totally right. It really is everywhere when you start to think about it. And it's not exactly small potatoes, so to speak. I mean, this report estimates the global market is already worth, get this, $215.48 billion.
It's no joke.
Billion. With a B.
We're talking serious business here, and it gets even wilder. Get this. It's projected to hit $285.19 billion by 2029.
Wow.
Which, when you really think about it, that's nearly a 5% growth rate. It's really remarkable for an industry that often flies under the radar.
Yeah. So, okay, big numbers aside, for those of us who, aren't wading through market reports every day, what exactly is contract catering these days?
Basically, it boils down to this. It's any large-scale food operation that's providing meals, on a regular basis. And we're talking about a wide range of places, think businesses, schools, hospitals, you name it. Even government institutions, they all rely on it. They have these agreements, these contracts with catering companies to make sure everyone's fed.
So we're talking way more than just your grandma's catering company whipping up potato salad for a family reunion here.
Oh, absolutely. This is the big leagues. And these contracts themselves, they're not all cut from the same cloth either. Like, you've got your fixed price contracts, that's pretty straightforward, and the caterer sets a price per meal. Done deal. But then there are these things called cost-plus contracts, and those I find really interesting.
Cost plus contract. That's a new one. Break that down for me.
Okay, so let's say, for example, you've got a school district, right? And they've got a cost-plus contract for their meals. Now imagine a sudden snowstorm hits, totally out of the blue. Supply chains get all messed up. Transportation costs go through the roof. You know the drill. Now, in this situation, a cost-plus contract means the catering company can actually adjust their pricing to reflect these unforeseen challenges.
That makes a lot of sense. Gives them some flexibility to roll with the punches.
Exactly.
So I want to shift gears a bit and talk about a trend I found really interesting in the report. The whole rise of fresh food subscriptions. Like, remember back in the day when it felt like TV dinners were going to be the future of food? This report suggests fresh is definitely back.
And in a big way. I think it speaks to a larger shift we're seeing. People are way more conscious about what they're eating now than they used to be. They're actually willing to spend a little bit more to get those fresh, healthy options, and that's making a big difference. This is especially true for, like, busy professionals, right?
Yeah.
Always on the go. And then, of course, you've got parents who want to make sure their kids are getting nutritious food, even with a hectic schedule.
Yeah, it's great to see that change, especially given how crucial those early eating habits are.
Oh, 100%. In fact, the report actually highlighted how K-12 schools are really pushing for these better quality meal options, which is fantastic.
That's great to hear. Okay, but speaking of changes, the report dives into all the ways technology is shaking things up in the contract catering space, too.
Mhm.
AI-powered menu planning, mobile ordering apps, it's a whole different ballgame now.
It completely changes the game. Just imagine this. You've got this AI system that analyzes all the student lunch data in a school district, right? And it's able to identify a growing preference for, say, vegetarian options. The system can then actually suggest new plant-based dishes, keeping everyone happy, keeping the menu fresh, and all while helping the district keep costs in check. It's incredible.
That's wild, AI optimizing lunch for an entire school district. It seems like tech is really changing how everything works behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about boosting efficiency and making sure caterers are staying ahead of the curve, anticipating needs. This technology, it's giving them the power to adapt to what people really want, and that's exciting.
Speaking of staying ahead of the curve, this report also mentions something called cloud kitchens. What is that? Is that just like a buzzword for a ghost kitchen? Or is it something different?
Well, it is a term that's, gaining a lot of traction these days, and for good reason. Essentially, they are delivery-only kitchens, and they're popping up all over the place. And yeah, they are making waves in the contract catering world, no doubt.
So I guess you probably wouldn't use a cloud kitchen to cater your grandma's next family reunion, but I can see how that flexibility, that like nimbleness would be huge for, those big catering operations.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Think about it. lower overhead costs, the ability to adapt to changing demands like really quickly,
Mm.
and the potential to offer, more creative and diverse menus. It
Right.
really opens up a whole new world of possibilities for them.
It's almost like they're taking that food truck experience and like bringing it indoors. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with the scale and the reliability of a bigger catering operation.
What a great way to put it. Speaking of food
Oh,
trucks,
here we go.
this report did highlight some of the challenges that contract catering is facing. And one that really jumped out at me was the rising popularity of, yeah, you guessed it, food trucks and those grab and go spots that are everywhere these days.
Yeah, I can see that. Food trucks, they're kind of having a moment right now, you know. But how does that actually impact those big contract catering companies?
Well, I think it really comes down to this. Consumer expectations, they're changing. People, especially like younger generations, they're looking for something different. They want a more authentic, more diverse dining experience.
Yeah.
And frankly, they often see street food as being, a cheaper option and a more adventurous option,
Yeah.
compared to what they might find with traditional catering.
It's true. It's not just about grabbing a bite. It's a whole
Mhm.
thing.
Right. It's about the story behind the food, that connection to local culture. And let's be real, sometimes you just crave that like messy, delicious taco from your favorite food truck.
Oh, absolutely. Don't get me started on tacos. Okay, so we talked about some of the trends, some of the challenges that are popping up, but this report, it takes this really global view. So
Mhm.
are there any regions out there that are really leading the charge when it comes to contract catering?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Asia Pacific, that whole region, it's on fire right now. I mean, the demand for contract catering there, through the roof.
Hmm.
And it makes sense when you think about it. You've got rapid economic development, urbanization happening at a crazy pace, and of course, you can't forget about the booming tourism industry there.
Yeah, it makes sense. With all that going on, they're going to need some serious food service operations to keep up.
Exactly. But it's not just about keeping up with demand, right? Consumers in Asia Pacific, they're also becoming more health conscious, which we're seeing everywhere. And they're also really eager to like experience different cuisines. So this actually plays right into the hands of these innovative contract catering companies that are popping up over there.
Yeah, so it seems like there's a real chance for these companies to not only, like you said, keep up with demand, but to actually shape the way that people in the Asia Pacific region experience food, like food in general.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they have the potential to introduce new flavors, to promote healthier eating habits, even to support local food systems.
Yeah.
It's huge.
That's a powerful position to be in. So this report, I gotta say, it's pretty packed with insights. But before we wrap things up, was there anything else that really stood out to you? Like anything that really made you think?
Honestly, what really gets me about all this is just how this industry, it touches like everything. I mean, everyone's got to eat, right?
That's the thing, isn't it?
It's such a fundamental part of life.
It really is. And we're way past the point of, just filling our stomachs. It's about so much more than that now. It's convenience, it's quality, it's having those options and, making it all work with our, let's be honest, pretty busy lives. Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here. We talked about this booming global market, the shift towards fresh food, the way that technology is like changing the game. We even talked about, the challenge from those awesome food trucks we see popping up everywhere. But for our listener, what's the big takeaway from all this?
If I had to boil it down to one thing, I'd say this: contract catering. It's so much more than just some, behind the scenes industry. It really is. It's like a mirror. It reflects how we live, our priorities, and how we even just think about food, especially in a world that, let's face it, is changing faster than ever.
And it really seems like all of these trends we talked about, they're only going to become more like, intertwined as we move forward.
100%. And that's where things get really fascinating, right? As this industry grows, and it's clearly not slowing down, it has this incredible opportunity to like reshape things, not just what we eat, but how it gets to us, how it's produced, how it's delivered, the whole 9 yards. It's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
It really is.
Yeah.
So as we start to wrap up our deep dive today, is there like one question that you really want our listener to walk away with?
Here's something I'd love for everyone to just, ponder for a minute. The next time you're, say, grabbing lunch at the office or picking your kid up from school, just take a second. Think about the journey that food took to actually get there.
Yeah.
It's a small thing, but those little moments of awareness, they add up. They really can make a difference.
That's such a good point. It's a good reminder that, we're all part of this. We all play a role in shaping the future of food, even just those everyday choices we make. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a delicious conversation, if I do say so myself.
The pleasure was all mine.
Yeah.
Until next time.